It's nuking cities or blowing things up. They're getting everybody ready so when it happens, because it wasn't happening before, people go, oh, yeah, that seems right because we've already been pre-demonized. That shows their pre-preparation targeting. They laze you with propaganda first before they drop real bombs on you, and that's what I see happening. I want the caller to be able to finish up, but Steve Quayle, your take on predictive programming.
Well, it's not only predictive programming, okay? It's basically rubbing your nose, my nose, our noses in the very fact that they are mocking us, that we're not even bright enough. Remember, the elite believe they're elite in intellectual prowess, too.
It's lesser magic in their own words. They need to manifest it as a model first in front of us. It's a metaphysical rule as well, that it's like counting coup, like a Native American would mock kill you 2 or 3 times in combat before they actually killed you. They believe it adds to the mojo to symbolically do it before they actually do it.
Absolutely, and again, it gets back, it's truly called ritual magic, okay? And the reason it's ritual magic is, and I actually believe this, you know, and Alex, the reason I go to the Bible when, for instance, in the book of Hosea, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. God doesn't want his people destroyed. The whole basis of prophecy is telling you what's going to be, you know, coming in the future.
It's a warning. You're given the blueprint.
You're given the blueprint. And so the thing is that, ladies and gentlemen, when they lay it out, when people say, what can they do? Notice this.
Stay there. We got a break. You'll come right back to you, Stephen. Let Jerry finish. Then we'll go to everybody else that's patiently holding. So stay with us.
We're on the march.
Because signing on with the New World Order is like tying a millstone around your neck, to quote Christ, and throw yourself in the deepest ocean. A millstone's one of those giant stones they use to grind wheat with. Be better for you to do that than to hurt the innocents, to hurt the little children. The vaccines, all of it. This whole system is so evil. And through compartmentalization, most people who are not bad at heart are helping carry it out. So no matter how horrible the truth is, I'm going to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And not because I'm a hero, and not because I'm perfect, but because I know how evil the globalists are. In other countries where they've got full control, it was even the New York Times 2 years ago, Paul Watson wrote about it. They send in UN troops into villages where people have been for 1,000 years because it's a UN carbon sink, and they're taking this land so they can mine over here, and they line them up and shoot them and burn down their houses. And then they have articles about, well, it's for the earth. See how it's just, oh, yeah, we're just mowing villagers down. It's no big deal. But, oh, my gosh, the police are so racist, you know, let's have a war with them. And it's not that there isn't some bad stuff happening. It's that the system is choosing to do that. Obviously, it's a divide and conquer tactic. Obviously, it's a takeover program. And you could just see a classic communist destabilization program that I've historically researched all over the world 30, 40 times, and that I've seen on air in 20 years dozens of times. I mean, this is a shake and bake operation. Just like I know how to make box pancakes, folks, I can sit back and watch the globalists making this. I mean, this is a ABCD EFG type deal. And I'm just sitting here with horror going, my gosh, we really were right. They really are doing it. They really are establishing planetary government. They really are opening the borders and saying our kids belong to the state and teaching 2 + 2 = 5 and saying we didn't build our businesses and geoengineering. I mean, Bill Gates is a supervillain beyond anything in a James Bond movie. He's involved in weather manipulation with hurricanes. That's mainstream news. He's got a fleet of aircraft messing with hurricanes. He's involved in chemtrailing. But what he's doing is classified. Warren Buffett, involved in every evil you can imagine. George Soros, involved in every evil you can imagine. The Rockefellers, involved in everything you can imagine. The Saudi royal family, the British royal family, the Rothschilds, it's crazy. We're living in a science fiction dystopia that they're billing as a utopia. And they have model cities where they allow some industry and some freedom, but only because people accept globalism. And then everyone looks to that. Austin's one of these cities. to then adopt all this so they'll be prosperous, but really it's like a bear trap. Steve Quayle's our guest. I want to go to Jerry and have him finish up, and then I want to get to all these callers that have been holding. Steve Quayle is our guest, but this is an epic time to be alive. Jerry, finish up your point.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to say, if you watch what they put on TV, you can. They're telling us what they've got coming, and in 2 weeks they have a person of interest coming out where a computer virus crashes the stock market. How did they dovetail that? Filming months and months ago with what's going on today with the Sony hack and the stock market hitting record highs.
Oh, absolutely.
We already know what was going to happen.
Most people get their news from the from entertainment, so that's where they put the programming. That's on record. Great point, Steve Quayle. That brings up what I raised earlier. AP reports U.S. economy accelerates and helps lift Dow to 18,000 points. Derivatives and fiat dollars are what are inflating the stock market as the real economy dies. What's your view on the economy next year?
Well, first of all, I think we're going to have a bank crash. I think the Sony hack, if people look at what's happened to the Sony hack, for the first time corporate veil has been broken, and they're going to go after, and whoever is responsible is brilliant because they're going after the people that make up the corporation. A corporation is an artificial construct that basically protects everybody from liability. I think you're going to see, Alex, the takedown of some of the major global corporations this way. And what's happening now, listen, the targeting is changing. Some of these guys are going to be whacked. Just like the Grill Economist V stated, back before, I think there were 12 bankers and international financiers killed, murdered, assassinated, suicided. Now we're up to close to 40. But what I think people have got to recognize is that this Sony attack and hack, and we're being told that our financial institutions are in great danger. We're being told that, yet people will keep their money in banks and non-interest-bearing CDs. And again, look at this. Alex, I have talked to very wealthy people. In Montana, we have a place called the Yellowstone Club. The world's billionaires, half of them that you just, or almost all of them that you just named, live up there or have one of their many houses around the world up there. So they don't live if Yellowstone is going to blow within 30 miles of Yellowstone. I'm just telling you that. But in all of this, the point being is that the cyber attack on the bank is coming. Now that it's been effective in Sony, see what's happened? They've already made the precedent that one of the biggest corporations in the world, the entertainment corporation of the world, is no longer safe. And everybody who's related to that corporation is no longer safe. I also believe that Hollywood has sown evil, and now they're going to reap the whirlwind. I think they're going to reap it. Now, let's talk about the 18,000 Dow. For the record, 18,000 is 666. I believe the Illuminati, as at different times, they put their signals to all of their members and their buddies out there for everyone to see. That is so disjointed from the real world. They will never tell the truth. All the government's numbers are lies, all of them. That's why John Williams' shadow stats is such an important site. Look, you can't have 100 million people unemployed. You can't have $1 trillion in student loans. You can't have these people unemployed and then be bringing in, 18 million immigrants through the border and displacing people. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have a job, you can't buy a house. You know what all the housing prices, all the housing sales are going?
50 million people on food stamps and growing. Imagine soup lines with 50 million in them every day.
It won't happen, Alex. They'll start to poison. One of the top military guys told me, he said, the plan is, Steve, do you remember years ago, right after 9/11, this is critical, that they were really concerned with spray planes?
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
Spray planes. I don't think people understand, and now I'm not talking biological, I'm talking chemical. If you have a very closed community, and the winds are right, you basically fly over, kind of like Goldfinger, James Bond, and you just take out everybody, okay? So the plan is even on the trains, some people still don't believe there are prison cars ready to set. The plan is to take them out to a spur line, and basically, it's funny, the prison cars will be in front behind the engine, and behind that are the bulldozers and the caterpillars, and they just basically spray everybody in the prison cars. You see, this is what they're saying they're going to do. This is what insiders have told me they're going to do. And still, people go, I don't believe that. So here's the deal. For those of you that always fall back on the don't believe that, or that anytime anybody tells the truth, the shill factor gets in, and the permanent propaganda crew in the Illuminists start going on saying, well, these guys are crazy, these guys are doom doom porners, or whatever they say, okay?
Fear porn.
Yet, Alex, you have been right, I have been right, and there's no one who can deny it with the thousands of hours of broadcast. Well, we didn't warn people way, many years ago, if not decades.
Well, I know this. There are people running things, and it doesn't matter if it's the CIA, the FBI, Interpol, MI6, MI5. There are good people in all those organizations. In fact, per capita, there might be even more good people in them because they are inside and somewhat decompartmentalized compared to the public, so they know what's going on. But it doesn't matter because at the top of almost all those organizations are key globalists that are controlling it and controlling the narrative. But because there are so many good people in the system now, it's hurting the globalists because they get caught when they pull things. But here is the larger problem in that, is that the public on average is so dumbed down, they don't give support to the good people inside the system that would try to tell people the truth about what's happening. I mean, look at all the pedophile scandals in the British government. They do that to compromise people. Look at just all the craziness that has already come out. It makes my head spin. Lori in California, you're on the air. Thanks for holding.
Thank you, Alex. I have 4 points I'd like to make, and I'll be really quick. The first is I think that the globalists are going to hit us on all fronts. I don't think they're going to let up. I think there's going to be a lot of false flags to divert us, but they'll still keep going under the wire to attack us. And secondly, the northern counties in California are trying to secede from Southern California. I don't know if you're aware of that because
Yes.
they're not being represented. Fourthly, I'd like to remind people, thirdly and fourthly, Lung Cleanse helped me get over that viral gook that's going around in 4 days, where it's taking my friends 3 weeks to a month. And I'd also like to remind people, prepare for their pets also. That's crucial. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, ma'am. Since you brought that up, I didn't know you were calling on that subject. We looked at big holes in the supplement industry because the supplement industry is always trying to come out with some new, manipulated, changed staple to call it something new. And they'll change, an acid or something in it and then give it some new cool name with something that's already a staple. We went back to basics to find the most organic, powerful, concentrated, cold-pressed products. I mean, the iodine is from deep beneath the earth, 100%. It's like 9999 iodine. No one else has that. Other stuff is seaweed-based. Revolutionary what it does, okay? X2, discounted right now on InfoWarsLife.com. Take the Lung Cleanse. Is it 14 different? I forget. Concentrated essential oils, cold-pressed with a bunch of fruit and botanical extracts. And the only problem with it is it clogs up the spray top, so you got to wash that out every 4 or 5 times you use it, because it's not like 3 or 4 ingredients and some menthol. This is like super essential oil, over the top, what it does when I have a sore throat or when I'm having bad allergies. We have that available at InfoWarsLife.com. The Oxy powder from Global Healing Center that we have discounted at InfoWarsLife.com is ozonated oxygen tablets that time release in the upper and lower intestine, large and small intestine. All I'm going to say is sensational what it does. You've heard the callers. Rob Dew, the news director, lost 12 pounds in 1 week, and he was already not a big guy. He just had 12 pounds of you-know-what in there. And that's one of the big causes of people having so many problems, the immune system boost. In the new year, folks, give yourself a favor. As part of your New Year's resolution, take the Oxy powder. It's all available at InfoWarsLife.com, and that also helps fund the whole InfoWars operation. Go to SteveQuayle.com, get his Xenogenesis book. I've read it. Over the top, the quotes, the documents about the master plan, SteveQuayle.com. Lori, thank you so much for your call. Linda in New York, you're on the air with Steve Quayle. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I sure can. Thank you for holding.
Okay, thank you. I'm calling about no one's mentioning the problems with Fukushima, the radiation spreading all over the U.S., and all the leaking reactors that we probably have in the U.S.
90% are now leaking. I know, used to hardly any.